Welcome back to NewsWire here on SportsGrid. Hey, look who we got. Dexter Henry's in the house. Great to catch up with Dexter here on the show. Talking some NBA, getting some picks as well. He's been really hot, I know, with us the last couple of weeks. We'll see if we can get it going. Dexter, thanks for coming back on. Appreciate it.
No, always good to talk some hoops with you, Craig. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. So before we get to the games last night, I wanted to ask you about the suspensions and the fines because I know that
Yeah.
you've talked about this. You've seen it on social media as well. I know it just popped here like an hour ago. Fair to give Stewart as many games as he got, and then the money. What did you think of that too?
Stewart getting the 4 games, I wasn't shocked. Like, look, when you leave the bench and you come in throwing the kind of haymaker he did. Now, I personally am not terribly bothered by these fights sometimes that occur in the NBA, as I think some other people are. But the suspensions are about what I thought I was. They're always going to give more to guys. Him and Musa Diabate for escalating it, and Jalen Durant ends up getting 2. Um, the money also fair too. Is this going to deter guys? I think it definitely should deter you from leaving the bench and doing anything when you lose
Yeah,
as much
agreed.
money as Isaiah Stewart's going to lose. That should be the deterrent there. But we've seen this in the NBA for a long time, Craig, right? Like, and it's amazing to me, guys still leave the bench. This has cost teams playoff series. Knicks fans, which I cover here in New York, they know that very well from back in 1997. So this is cost team series. You want to have guys, you don't want guys coming off the bench. You never want to see things go too far. Scrums are good. Scuffles, kerfuffles, whatever you want to call them, they're going to
Sure.
happen in basketball. But yeah, I think everything handed down was fair.
All right. So our producer of the show, Frank, he wanted to take the day off today after watching his Knicks lose last night to the Indiana Pacers. This was a game, Dexter, that, we do an hour and a half show here. We spend some time on games. This is one that we kind of were like threw away. We're like, this game's not worth talking about. Teams, generally speaking, that are 10 or more point favorites, they may not win. They may not cover, but they usually win. This turns out to be one of the bigger upsets in a while. It's going to be the biggest upset of the week for sure. How in the world did Indiana pull this one off?
Listen, I'll say this first. I totally understand why Frank wanted to take the day off. After what he witnessed last night at the Garden, I would want to take the day off too. How it happened, Craig, is zero defense from the Knicks. The Knicks defense was terrible. I was there in the building last night. I could not believe how bad their defense was. And the reason I couldn't believe how bad it was, coming into this game, to your point, they'd won 9 out of 10 games. They're over 10-point favorites in this one. Their defense is really what has won them a lot of these games. The only game they lost was to the Pistons. Before that, you just saw a dominant defensive performance by them in Boston. On Sunday, you're thinking, hey, this is a team coming in with 13 wins, last in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks should take care of business, but they couldn't guard the three-point line at all. I mean, the Pacers had 18 threes in this game. They made every open shot. There wasn't a lot of resistance or contesting there. I just thought the defense was terrible overall. It was one of the Knicks' worst defensive performances in weeks. So it was very shocking, but you can look no further than that. And here's the thing. Despite that, they had multiple chances to win this game because Jalen Brunson kept them in it. He had a 40 piece, but the problem was they couldn't get any stops. The Pacers scored the first 7 points, I believe it was, of overtime. And then that was all she wrote. The Knicks made another run, but that was all she wrote. So the Knicks have,
Gotcha.
Frank could be disgusted, but it was all about defense.
So Dexter, you follow this a lot closer than I do, not just with the Knicks, but on back-to-backs in the NBA, the teams that are doing well versus the teams that don't. The
Mm.
Knicks are on that back-to-back, and so I don't know. Like, do teams generally, when they lose a game like this, get fired up and bounce back the next day because they play at Philadelphia tonight, and Philly is -2 with a total of 225 and a half. It's a 7:30 p.m. Eastern start. So you would again be able to speak to this more than me this season.
So I think a lot of it matters into who the matchup is, and then also, with the back to back and how far to travel. This is not a long trip for the Knicks, right down I-95 to Philadelphia. They had some success last month in Philadelphia. One of their, actually, you'll say it, it's their best road win of the season was against the Sixers on January 23rd. I think the Knicks know how disgusted Coach Brown was with them after this game. I expect them to play much, much better. I actually like the Knicks in this spot. They've been playing really good basketball overall. The Sixers have been playing better basketball overall, but I think the Knicks know they'd love to even the season series. They're 1-2 against the Sixers this year. They've lost both games to them at Madison Square Garden. They won the last game in Philly. I like the spot for the Knicks to bounce back. I think they know how important it is to close strong before the All-Star break. This is where betting's a little tricky, Craig, right? Some teams might have their eye on getting out of here, getting some days
That's
off.
true.
Some,
Yeah.
some teams are also looking at trying to close strong. I just think the Knicks' performance was so disappointing last night. I see a much better effort from tonight. I like the Knicks money line. I would. I think I saw it was plus 116. I'd go with the Knicks money line here.
But are these the final games, by the way, before the All-Star break tonight? Is that the way this is rolling?
For the Knicks, it is. There are 3
Okay.
games in the NBA tomorrow. I think for the Sixers, it is as well too. So
Okay.
for both teams, it's the
Okay.
final game. Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So let's take a look. Eastern Conference odds real quick. Detroit still leads the way. Cleveland has risen back to plus 340. There are the Knicks. Boston falls back a little bit. I don't think anybody thinks Philly or Orlando's winning the East. So is that the way that it plays out for you?
No, it's funny. I'm very shocked at that jump for Cleveland that we have seen since they acquired James Harden. I like the move, gives them a little bit more playmaking, should unlock some of their bigs. I think it makes their backcourt worse defensively. And here's the thing: if your series gets to a game 6 or game 7, the question I have for everybody is, do you trust James Harden? Because I don't. I don't trust him in a game 6 or a game 7 there. I actually like the Knicks or Boston better than I would Cleveland. So if you can jump on those odds, you like those teams to win the East. I would jump on that too. Detroit deserves to have the best odds to win the East, but I think the Knicks and Boston should be right after that. I'm a little bit surprised at that love for Cleveland. I just don't love Cleveland as much as some other people do. I'm not a believer there. I would say also keep your eye on Philadelphia. If they're healthy and they continue to play well, you can see that them jump up. But the thing about them is you don't know who's going to be healthy, so it's all very interesting.
True. Okay, so Kevin Durant joins the history books with Kareem and LeBron and some others for 20-point games in the history of the league, which is really impressive. And the Rockets beat the Clippers 102-95. Odds makers had this right on the money here as far as the odds were concerned. Clippers, I would have to imagine, I don't know how Garland's going to work out for them, but they're going to fall back. I would assume they would, no matter what Kawhi Leonard does. 26 points for Durant last night. We'll get to the Clippers tonight here in a minute. What did you make of that performance last night?
Well, I mean that performance. I think it was a little got to a little bit of a close game in the fourth quarter, and then Kevin Durant stepped up. They got themselves up to a 15-point lead there in that fourth quarter. The thing with the Rockets is they struggle to score late in games, and sometimes the lack of having a true point guard on that team that's hurt them without Fred VanVleet. But when they can get good games where they play well defensively, and the Clippers are a bit of an easier team to defend now without Harden, I think it makes them more dynamic. Durant was good. Shengun was good down the stretch of that game. We'll see how they are in this matchup here tonight.
They play again tonight? Is this the same? Wow, the same matchup tonight. I'm
Yeah,
looking here. I'm
same
like,
matchup
this
in
is
Houston.
okay. That that's great. By the way, Dexter, I'm looking at the schedule here. Not does everybody play in the NBA tonight? I think like every single
I
team plays.
think
It
there.
feels
I
like, or
trying to remember
close
the
to it.
total games. If it was 11 or if it was 13, I can't remember. I don't know
That's a
because I know the
lot.
Lakers play tomorrow. The Lakers play tomorrow. So no, everybody doesn't play. There's a couple teams that aren't playing. The
Okay,
Thunder do
gotcha.
play. They have a back to back. So yeah, everybody doesn't play.
All right. Sorry, I digress. All right. So 8 p.m. Eastern, Rockets -9 off that performance total 208.5. Do you have a position on this one?
I I don't see the Clippers winning this. Will the Rockets win comfortably? I see them playing a little bit better. So maybe you want to take the Clippers +9. They may be a little bit more competitive because you have this baseball kind of series that you're having in Houston. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go. I'll go with the Clippers. I'll take the Clippers in the points. I just think it'll be a
Okay.
little bit closer than the first game.
Okay, I got 3 games here. We're not going to have time. So Pistons, Raptors, Thunder, Suns, Spurs, Warriors. You pick one. One
Let's go
game of
Pistons
those 3.
Raptors.
Okay,
Let's go
go ahead.
Pistons Raptors. The reason I find that interesting is because of the suspensions that we talked about, right? And what I would look at this game, you're looking, it's a very close line on the road. But what I would look at in this game is there's no Jalen Duran, there's no Isaiah Stewart. So who else can grab rebounds for Detroit? Look at Cade over in rebounds. I would also look at Asur Thompson in rebounds. Can you get him for 6, 7 plus rebounds? I think those are good plays. There are rebounds to be had in this game. So I would try to get those.
Dexter, great stuff as always. Appreciate you coming on. I'm sure we'll talk again next week. Thanks again.
No problem. Thanks, Greg.